Fat, overweight, obese. Just like every controversial topic, there are many opinions on the issue. The public tends to get the negative opinions of being overweight preached to them. Knowing that, people should be more open-minded about those who are overweight, not only because society has negatively altered the meaning of being overweight, but also because people tend to view those who are by the stereotypical definition. Jamie, the main character in Big Fat Manifesto, stated, "We're not even supposed to mention the word fat in print, because we might get accused of supporting overweightness and contributing to the ongoing public health crisis in this country, or because we might create an eating disorder." How could the word fat have such a negative meaning that we're not even supposed to mention it? Simple. Social media, Hollywood, and false information have completely altered the textbook definition of fat. Textbook: having a large amount of excess skin. Sounds disgusting, but it is what it is. Urban Dictionary: very fat and nasty. Gets dumped a lot because people can't stand to look at them. If that's the kind of mindset people are in, then it's not surprising that being called fat is such a terrible thing. Jennifer Lawrence said, "It should be illegal to call somebody fat." It's become so negative that people want it banned. Why such a drastic move to combat the word? Well, because of the way people respond to being called fat. It can be dangerous. Contrary to popular belief, calling somebody fat does not motivate them to lose weight. Instead, it promotes them to do the fast and easy way of losing weight. This includes starvation, vomiting, diet pills, juice cleanses, stomach stapling, laxatives, smoking, and overexercising. Some are a temporary fix, but most are just flat out dangerous. Body fat has become the only safe target in our politically correct world. Social media, Hollywood, and society in general continually tells the public that being overweight is wrong. Body fat has also become the last acceptable of societal prejudice. Society tells them the only way for those who are overweight to be accepted is if they change, and if they don't, it's their fault for being discriminated against. People who are overweight are bullied and discriminated against, but have nowhere to turn and need a public support. There are no support groups for those who are overweight, let alone any social acceptance in the future. Sure, there's Overeaters Anonymous, but that's not "you go. Accept yourself for who you are." It's more, great, you recognize your problem, and now you can start to change. There's a big difference between the two. People use the threat of obesity as a scare tactic to get others to go along with whatever newly proposed ban, health fad, or simply to join the fight against obesity, because it's the only thing that can be protested without you being called closed-minded and intolerant. New York recently banned sugary drinks over 16 ounces, claiming that it would cut down on obesity. While yes, limiting sugary drinks is a healthy move, using obesity as one of the main reasons for the ban is not okay. Not only does it feed into the stereotypical definition of someone who is overweight, it also allows the public who are unhappy with the ban to blame those who are overweight. This ad recently ran in Hawaii as a part of their Rethink Your Drink campaign. The slogan reads, "Don't drink yourself fat, choose water instead." After airing for 4 months, 54% of the students who had seen the ad admitted to cutting down on their sugary beverages. In this case, the scare tactic of obesity worked. And because of its mild success in Hawaii, the ad campaign is slowly starting to grow. Another problem facing those who are overweight is dealing with the stereotypical definition that has been given to them by society. Jamie briefly touches on some of the myths that surround her and her weight problem. Myth number 1, speak gently to the poor fat girl. She can't help her terrible disability. Myth number 2, poor fat girl needs to be educated about her problem. Myth number 3, poor fat girl laughs to hide her tears. Myth number 4, poor lonely fat girl can't get a date. Myth number 5, all poor fat girl wants to do is lose weight. Not only do these stereotypes affect Jamie in the book, but they also affect the majority of those who are overweight. Another factor that adds to the stereotypical definition of being overweight is obesity stigma. This is where people give negative characteristics to those who are overweight, such as mean, stupid, ugly, unhappy, and lazy. This leads to a lot of bullying while you're in school, as well as discrimination in your adult life. To help show some of the stereotypical things those who are overweight have to do with, I have found several Yahoo quotes that touch on being overweight. Well, if you believe that morbidly obese people have an addiction to food, like I personally believe, then you should only have enough sympathy for them what you would a drug addict or an alcoholic. They are selfish. But they are also deeply troubled and needing psychological help. At least, that's what I think. Another says, my local hospital has dozens of beds that are extra strong and extra expensive to ensure that fat, lazy people who can't control their urges to eat have a place to sit down. And the last one says, there's an epidemic of obesity in the U.S. Why, instead of doing something about it, are the fatties trying to make it sound as if it's okay? The fatties are robbing me of a pleasant experience at the theater, on an airplane, or in public transportation. They hang over into my space, they encroach on my seat I pay for, they make it impossible for me to get out and use the restroom, they visit my home and damage my furniture. They raise my insurance and my health cost. Why should I have to accept this? Jamie also makes it a point to say that anything goes since fat is now the new national health crisis of the new millennium. 80% or more people under the age of 21 believe obesity is the result of laziness, and all fat people have to do to get skinny is choose to live better. While a lot of people believe that laziness and junk food are directly the reasons of being overweight, they tend not to look past it or try to find any others. There's a lot of health conditions that can also lead to being overweight. But you can also be overweight and not be unhealthy. There are many people who are considered overweight and are actually very healthy, and healthier than some people who are technically thin. Just because you're overweight doesn't mean you're out of shape. It doesn't mean just because somebody's smaller than you, they're healthier than you are. As I said before, society has completely altered the meaning of fat, and a lot of people go along with the stereotypical definition of being fat. Please consider being more open-minded about your peers who are overweight, because they're not always in the same situation you think they are. Don't judge a book by its cover. People always say that, but really take this one to heart. And if you happen to fall into the category that's considered overweight, or you think you're overweight, just remember that being overweight only hinders you if you let it. It's just a physical attribute, not a definition of who you are. Be fat, be flawless.